bless you.
Yes, sir.
As we prepare to hear from our brother Herman Muhammad. And we want to thank you for coming. Thank you for coming, brother, sisters. Thank you for coming. Let's receive our brother with a warm round of applause. Assalamu alaikum.
Let me first start by saying, well, let's give Brother Gerald another round of applause, please. Let's start out by saying, in the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, I bear witness that there is no God but Allah. I bear witness that Muhammad is his messenger. As students and followers of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad and the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, we believe and thank Allah, we believe in, and thank Allah for all of his messengers and all of the scriptures that they brought. We thank Allah for Moses and Abraham and the Abrahamic prophets in the revelation of the Torah or the Old Testament. We thank Allah for Jesus or Isa, Ibn Maryam, and the disciples, the apostles, and the revelation of the Holy Injil or the Gospel. We thank Allah for Prophet Muhammad ibn Abdullah of 1400 years ago, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and the divine revelation of the Holy Quran. May the peace and blessings of Allah be upon each and every one of these worthy servants of his. As students, again, of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad and the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, we are eternally grateful to Allah for his intervention in our affairs. And I'm talking about black and brown people, especially in the hills of North America, in the divine person of Master Fard Muhammad. We believe him to be the long-awaited Messiah of the Jews and the Christians, and the long-awaited Mahdi of the Muslims. Is that right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We thank him for coming 9,000 miles to seek and to save a lost and destroyed people.
Yes, sir.
We thank him for raising up in our midst one from amongst ourselves, a beautiful Georgia-born black man, the messenger of Allah, one who we've come to know as the exalted Christ, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. But lastly, and if I could live to be 1,000, I personally can never thank Allah enough for leaving one, both of them, the Master Fard Muhammad, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, for them leaving one to remind us that God is present.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
That person of whom I speak is a beautiful black man, a beautiful example of what it is to be a man. A messenger of God in our midst today. A reminder that God is present. Yes, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. And in their holy and righteous names, and in the names of all of the righteous ones who came before them, we greet you in the greeting words of peace. We said in the Arabic language, Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum, sir.
How's everyone feeling?
Fine, sir.
All praise is due to Allah. To him fine, doing fine by Allah's grace. Just striving to make my word my bond. Our subject today is a very powerful and a very beautiful subject, and in my humble opinion, a very needed subject.
Yes, sir.
And it's entitled True Black Love and Acts of Kindness. True black love and acts of kindness. And we're not going to be long because there's they're going to have a dinner here at noon. So we need to be out of here by 11:30. So we're going to do our best to be obedient. And you all are welcome to stay at the invitation of the pastors of the church upstairs from Love Christian Fellowship. And, you know, it's fitting that the subject has to do with love, and the name of their church is called Love Christian Fellowship.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Right?
Right.
Because what the world needs now is love.
Right.
Is that right?
That's right.
Y'all bear me witness
That's right.
that the world needs some love.
That's right.
I mean, man,
Yeah.
it's going down.
Yes, sir.
I don't know if y'all watch the news, but man, it is going down. People out of jobs, people who got government jobs.
Right.
You know, back in the day, if you had a government job, hey, that's security.
That's right. That's right.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Right? If you got a government job, that means, man, shoot, you ain't got nothing to worry about.
Well,
Not today.
not today.
Not under the auspices of Donald J. Trump.
Yeah, that's right.
Not under the petulant child who's called the president that you have now in office.
That's right.
Not under him. Because he has found a way to actively shut down the government,
Shut it down.
to actively have federal workers in the soup line,
Yes, sir. That's right.
Man.
That's right.
making them come to work for free,
For free.
Right.
or else y'all can resign. That's what they just got a letter
Yeah.
the other day, a couple days ago, saying you either come to work or resign.
Yeah.
That's hey. What the world needs now is some love. That's not no love
Yeah, that's right.
at all.
Man. Working for free.
Now, the first thing we have to do is we got to get some definitions out the way with regards to love and what love actually is. Because
sir.
a lot of us think that we know what love is, but do we really?
Talk about it.
Do we really? Love, according to Mr. Webster. Y'all know who Webster is? He's that cat who think he know everything
Yeah, go ahead.
about every word. But he don't never go to the root of what the word really means.
Right.
He uses common definitions and a lot of times cultural things to define words. But Mr. Webster defines love as an intense feeling of deep affection.
Right.
Or a deep romantic or sexual attraction to someone. That's love, according to Webster.
Yes, sir.
But that, like I said, that's got to be the cheapest definition of love that I've ever heard in my life. When I was growing up, I was taught, and I'm sure you all have heard this before too, that God is love.
That's
Yeah,
right.
that's right.
That's right.
Right?
That's right.
God is love. So
Yes, sir.
in that sentence, the is an equal sign.
Right.
God equals love.
Right.
Now, how could God just be an intense feeling of deep affection? Or a deep romantic or sexual attraction to someone? We got a misconception about what love really is.
Right.
God is love. I agree with that. That is 100% correct.
That's right.
The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan teaches us that love and the word life, you can take those two middle letters and they're interchangeable. That love equals life, right? Just like God is love, God is also life. Is that right?
That's right.
Don't none of us have life without God.
That's right. That's
Is that right?
That's
That's
right.
right.
That's right.
We gotta make it plain today.
Yes,
That's
sir.
right.
Go ahead.
But the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, when he defined love, he went even a little deeper. He said that love is freedom, justice, and equality.
Go ahead, sir.
Love is freedom, justice, and equality. That's something that we all seek.
Right.
That's something that federal workers are seeking right now. Is that right?
That's right.
Freedom, justice, and equality.
Yes, sir.
The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan wrote an article in this edition of the Final Call newspaper. And we want to make sure that you all get a copy of this paper before you leave.
Excellent.
And in it, he find the meaning of love.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to read a little bit from it, because I'm not going to read it all, because I want you to read it and I want you to get your understanding. But I'm just going to start out. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, my subject today was inspired by a sister who visited our home, and at the end of the evening she asked me, Brother Farrakhan, I watch you grow, and I'm touched by the growth of your love for our people. How can I grow to love like I see you love? I never have been asked a question like that, but while she was asking, Allah God was giving me the answer. I answered her, and as I looked at the words going out of my mouth, I realized that Allah God had given to me something so profound that I determined that at the first chance I get, I would share it with you. He goes on, my subject today is taken from the Bible, and it is called the 2 Great Commandments of Allah. Jesus said, thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy mind.
That's right.
This is the first and great commandment. And the second is like unto it, thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself.
That's right.
On these 2 commandments hang all the law and the prophets. Okay, I'm going to stop right there. I'm going to stop right there. And just talk about that just briefly. That the first commandment is to love God.
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes, sir.
With all thy heart, all thy soul, all thy mind, all thy spirit. The first commandment is to love God. Now, Brother Gerald in his opening said that when you look in the mirror, you're looking at God.
Right.
What?
Did y'all hear me?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
yes, sir. Go ahead. Go ahead.
When you look in the mirror, you're looking at God. So, to love God, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan teaches us, in order to love God, you gotta love yourself. As a matter of fact, when we come into this wonderful class, into this wonderful teaching, the first thing that we learn is to love self first.
That's right.
Then others.
That's right, sir.
You and I do not have the propensity to love anyone or anything more than we love ourselves.
That's right. Go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
I want y'all to think about that. I want you to think about that. You do not have the propensity, it's not in you, to be able to love anyone or anything more than you love yourself. So, if you tell that sister, brother, how much you love her, but you don't love yourself, you lying to her.
Yeah, that's right.
And you lying to yourself.
That's right.
Likewise, sisters, if we tell brother how much we love him, but we don't really love ourselves, we lying to him. And we lying to ourselves. This Socrates said back in the day that knowledge of self is the prerequisite knowledge.
Yeah,
that's
right.
where you begin. But loving thyself is the first love that you could ever have. Because once you start loving yourself, then you can have room to love others. But if you don't love yourself, man, your love ain't real.
That's right.
Talk about it. Yes,
That's
sir.
right.
Yes, sir.
It's not.
Yes, sir.
You can't love yourself, yet you destroying your life. Remember, love is life, right? And life is love.
Yes,
you
sir.
can't love yourself if you're destroying your life.
That's right.
How is that possible? Because if you love something, you value it. Is that right?
Yes,
That's
sir.
right.
Go ahead.
It's not really our fault though, because many of us really don't love ourselves. But it's because the first thing that we were taught when we were brought here to this country, this great America, this place of what they call American exceptionalism. the place that stands in the admiration of the whole world, so to speak, so they say.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
When we were brought here as slaves, the first thing they taught us as slaves was that we needed to hate ourselves.
Yes, sir.
That's what they taught us. They taught us self-hatred, not self-love. They taught us to love them.
That's right.
That's right.
But to hate ourselves. We hated anything black. Many of us still don't like black.
That's right.
Many of us,
That's right.
like brother said, we 20 years into the new year. Many of us still believe that on New Year's Eve, man, if somebody black come through your door first, you're gonna have bad luck for the rest of the year.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
That's what we were taught.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yes, sir.
If you see a black cat, man, hey, look, crossing the street.
Amen.
You know what I'm saying? You don't want to see no part of that black cat.
Yeah.
If they want to put you out of a certain field, they blackball you.
Right.
Is that right?
That's right.
Everything black is negative.
Right.
We were taught to hate black.
Right.
And it's still the same today.
That's true.
That's right.
It's still the same today.
That's right.
Look, man. R. Kelly, and I gotta say this because that's a black man in the news today.
Yes, sir.
Every day.
Hey, man, they tearing that dude's head off.
Yeah. That's
They
right.
really are.
That's right.
And, you know, to a large extent, it's very well deserved.
Man.
However, you know, Brother Ahmad and I were having a conversation about Alan Dershowitz. Y'all know who Alan Dershowitz is?
Yes, sir. We know it.
Alan Dershowitz is a very prominent Jewish attorney, a very prominent Jewish lawyer. He was on OJ's team, right? But Alan Dershowitz is an anti-Farrakhaner.
Yes, sir.
He hates Minister Farrakhan.
Yes.
He's one of the chief Jews, or so-called Jews, I'm going to call them so-called Jews,
Yes, sir.
who level all sorts of accusations of anti-Semitism against the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan.
That's right. That's right. Sir.
Alan Dershowitz.
Yes,
He's
sir.
one of those, I mean, anytime the minister's name come up, they bring this devil up on TV.
That's right.
He got something slick to say. But Alan Dershowitz, like R. Kelly, is a pedophile.
Yeah, that's right. Thank you. That's
But don't
right.
nobody say nothing about
Nobody
it.
saying a mumbling word. Go ahead, brother.
You see what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
And look, this isn't just something that we saying. Look, we got the receipts on this. Ain't
Yeah,
that what
that's
they say
right.
now? They got the receipts, mean you got the evidence.
Right.
Yes, sir.
You know, this is a known fact. And the thing that we have to remember as a people, brothers and sisters, is that R. Kelly wasn't born in a vacuum. And what I mean by that is, he didn't just appear on the scene and all of a sudden this dude is a pedophile. First off, he was abused himself.
Right.
First.
First and foremost.
Go ahead.
Secondly, he's born into an industry where freakishness is the order of the day.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. That's right. Go
Are
ahead.
y'all listening?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
Hollywood isn't just Hollywood. They also call it Hollyweird.
Yeah. That's right.
Because they do all sorts of evil and wickedness. And pedophilia is the, man, that's the way that they get down.
That's right.
They got associations. I can't even remember what the name of the organization is called, but it's the something organization of man, boy, love. You know what I mean? It's a real organization where these top Hollywood producers, man, they'll get little boys and little girls, and then they'll take powerful politicians and they'll put them on a plane, and then they'll fly across to Europe, because once they get over international waters, it's not against the law for them to practice their pedophilia.
Right. That's right. Go ahead.
This is the type of world that we live in. This is the type of environment that R. Kelly came into.
Yeah.
But whenever it's a black man, we can't tolerate that. it shouldn't be tolerated by anyone.
That's right.
That's right.
Go ahead.
That's right.
But whenever it's a black man, they put man, they on that dude's hat.
That's right.
For sure.
I bring up the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan in this whole conversation because the Honorable Minister Farrakhan is the epitome of true black love.
That's right.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Here is a man who has been serving our people in his ministry for 63 years.
That's right.
That's right.
That's a long,
That's a long time.
That's a long time, especially to be dealing with black people.
Right.
That's a long time to be dealing with Negroes.
That's soft
Yeah.
stuff.
That's a long
Yeah.
time to be dealing with niggas,
Yeah. That's right.
coons,
That's right. Go
colored
ahead.
folks,
Go ahead.
ham bones,
Go ahead.
shines.
Shine.
And we all that. That's what they made us into.
That's
Yeah.
But this man has been working tirelessly on our behalf for 63 years. Now, look, man, that's love.
That's love.
That's love because, man, unconditional. I gotta say it,
Go ahead,
sis.
man.
I gotta say it because if you know anything about this work, man, this isn't a work to where somebody's sitting up here lying in our pockets.
Right.
That's right.
I gotta tell you that right
That's
now.
Right.
That's right.
So whenever somebody stands up and they do this work, and then on top of that, they get the enemies that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan has.
That's right.
You got to think about who this man's enemies are.
Yeah.
His enemies are the government of America.
That's right.
Are
Man.
y'all listening?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Powerful Jews who run not only this government, but governments all over the world.
That's right. Go ahead.
Wicked white supremacists, right?
Yes, sir.
And the least of these, ignorant Negroes.
That's right.
But the bottom line is, he got a lot of enemies.
That's right.
That's right.
But he's steady showing love.
That's right.
He said, well, this is the love, this true black love of self, of kind, of God, is really what's missing. Really a thing that is divine. Even this self-hatred that we have going on. This rulership that we see going on, Donald Trump's leadership, is really divine.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Because in this book, in the second surah, or the second chapter, the 30th verse, this is the Holy Quran, if you all are not familiar with this book, Allah is having a conversation. And we were talking about this in our study class on Friday night.
Yes, sir.
Allah is having a conversation with his angels, right? And he says, I am going to place a ruler in the earth.
Go ahead.
Donald Trump.
He said, I'm going to place, this is God talking, I'm going to place a ruler in the earth. Certain translations call it a Khalifa,
Yeah.
right? Or vicegerent. I'm going to place a ruler in the earth. And the angels, because they feel like they are familiar with God, say, they're a little perplexed. What would you place in it? Except that which would create mischief and cause the shedding of blood. We celebrate thy praise and extol thy holiness, but what is this, God? And he simply said, I know what you know not.
Go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
Place the ruler in the earth. See, when he placed that ruler, the angels saw that that ruler was opposite of God. That's why they were perplexed.
Go ahead.
They're like, man, we celebrate thy praise and extol thy holiness, but what is this? What is this? They saw that this ruler was wicked. They saw that this ruler was a liar. They saw that this ruler was a hater. They saw that this ruler didn't have no love.
Right.
Go ahead.
None. And so, again, when we were brought here under the leadership of this ruler, we were taught to hate,
Yes, sir.
especially self.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
But this ruler was placed in the earth to rule for only a certain amount of time.
That's right.
Right?
Yes, sir.
He was here just for a certain amount of time. Now I want to go back to the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan's article just briefly, because I want to get back to that God is love, peace. He says, you receive gifts and you give gifts, and you have a tendency to love those who give you gifts, but nobody has given a gift like Allah God gives. Now listen to this. He gives you eyes and then gives you something to look at. You have an earth that which you can keep on looking and looking and looking, and the more you look, the more you see. And the more you see, the more you marvel at a mighty God. When you get tired of looking at the earth, you lay down on the grass and look at the wonders in heavens above you. If you get tired, you can go down in the water and look at the water, or look at the world, excuse me, under the water. You open the earth and another world is in the earth.
That's right.
The more you look, the more you see. See, the Master said, ask and it shall be given to you. Seek and ye shall find. Knock and it shall be opened unto you. All you have to do is seek. But what you're looking for is already here. Knock and it shall be opened unto you.
Go ahead.
Ask and it shall be given. Because Allah God is the essence of love itself. And there is no love without Allah God. If Allah God is not involved in your life, then love is not involved in you. And the words that you use are mockery. Huh?
Go ahead.
So it's just talking about the magnificence of Allah's creation. That, I mean, not only the earth, I mean, because we all could bear witness to the beauty of the earth, just opening our eyes and being able to see.
Yes, sir.
But many of us, we never even think about the beauty of our own creation. The fact that we have 9 systems in our bodies.
Yes, sir.
That work in concert with one another without us even thinking about it. And these 9 systems governed by the 10th system, which is the brain. Is that right? That this circulatory system involves a heart that pumps over 100,000 times per day without us even thinking about it.
Yeah.
I mean, think that over. That's love. That God would give you something like that to keep your life going, to sustain you. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
That's right.
Oh, man. So, love is not what brought us into this country. A devil brought us into this country.
That's right.
To make us into slaves.
That's right.
Right? He brought us into this country to make us into slaves. And even though we built this country and allowed the United States of America to amass so much wealth that it is the only so-called first world country in the world. Off of our backs, off of our sweat, our blood, after our labor.
Never forget it. Never. Right.
They still have not shown us any love.
Right.
So even after, you know, however many so-called free years we've been so-called free, 150, 160 years up from the Emancipation Proclamation, right? When Master Lincoln so-called freed us. We still have never received any reparation or any payment for the work that our people did.
Right.
We're still looked at as the bottom rung of society. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
But God is not mocked. Is that right? Because he actually does love us. He promised us that it will be the rejected and the despised that will become his people, and he will be their God. Is that right?
That's right.
Oh, man. So, we talked about him in the opening. A God did come.
That's right, brother. Go ahead.
Allah did come in the person of Master Farad Muhammad.
Yes, sir.
9,000 miles to seek and to save this lost and rejected people. The ultimate show of love.
Yes, sir.
And when he came, this beautiful man, Master Farad Muhammad, and we gotta be clear. When we say Allah came in this man, you know, in the Quran it says how if we would have sent you an angel, we would have sent a man.
Yeah, that's right.
Is that right?
That's right.
That the only way we can recognize the magnificence of Allah is if somebody got to come. It's got to be a man.
Yeah, that's right.
It's got to be a man. Otherwise, man, hell, we'd be terrified if God sent a spook or a spirit.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Go ahead, brother.
I mean, think that over now. What's he going to send if he's not going to send a man?
Something as you are.
Come on, brother. Come on, man.
Because if he sends anything else, like I said, man, we're going to be scared to death.
Yeah.
What is that?
Right.
Anybody in here ever seen a ghost?
Not me.
I never seen a ghost, sister. But I never seen a ghost. But I think that I would be a little, you know what I'm saying? I think I'm a fairly, you know, masculine man. I'm a manly man. However, I think if I saw something like that I've never seen before, I'd be a little spooked.
Yeah.
That's right. That's
Yeah.
right. For real.
Yeah, go ahead.
Quite naturally. But God raises a man. And this man, he came. And the ministry of Master Farad Muhammad only lasted 3.5 years.
Yeah, that's right.
He was here from 1930, left about the middle of 1933. Or 1934, somewhere in there. But we know that he was God because he never asked us for anything.
That's right.
Now I want y'all to think about that.
Not a dime.
He never asked for anything. He came amongst a people, black people, but he came looking as if he was a Caucasian man.
That's right.
His father was black, his mother was a white woman, right? But he was specifically made to come and do a specific work.
That's right.
He came amongst us and he taught the most honorable Elijah Muhammad for 3.5 years, and then he left. He never asked for anything. He just gave him knowledge, wisdom, understanding, a superior and invincible truth that has not been defeated up to this very day.
That's right. That's right.
He taught the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, who only went to the 3rd grade of school. Did you all know that? This man only went to the 3rd grade of school. But what he learned from this master teacher for 3.5 years, he was able to teach amongst us for 40 years.
That's right.
And never be defeated in an argument.
That's right. Come on.
A person with a 3rd grade education. He raised up not only the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, who's his star student, but he's the one who raised up Malcolm X.
That's right.
Anybody love Malcolm in here? Anybody?
Yeah.
Praise be to Allah. It was the most Honorable Elijah Muhammad who raised up Malcolm X. It was the Honorable Elijah Muhammad who raised up Muhammad Ali, who was not only a champion in the ring, but a champion amongst our people, as long as he was teaching the teachings of the most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. He raised up Imam Waris-ud-Din. He raised up many scholars and scientists, some you know, some that you don't know.
Right.
But my point is, the wisdom that he had many children.
That's right. Come
The
on.
star of which is the
Come on.
Honorable Minister Louis
Yes, sir.
Farrakhan. And again, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, man, look, he never asked us for nothing.
That's right.
Nothing. All he did was give.
That's right.
The whole time he was amongst us. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan being his star student. I have to say, I've been following him for 28 years now. And like those who came before him, he's never asked us for anything.
That's right.
Right.
But all he's done is give us everything.
That's right. Come on, brother.
See, that is love. Even in our romantic relationships, you know, we really have a misconception of what love really is. Because love isn't just a noun. Love is a verb.
That's right.
Love is an action word.
Action.
Is that right, sisters? Love is an action word. You can't say you love me, but you don't do nothing for me. Is that right? You can't. I mean, you can say all you want. You know what I'm saying? And many of us, we got that. We can do some old school macking, you know, and smooth talking. But at the end of the day, if we really love, it's got to be shown in our actions.
That's right.
Remember, love is life. We gotta give something if we really love somebody.
That's right. Come on, man.
I mean, it's real talk. And you know, and it's the same thing with sisters, right? But a lot of times, and I gotta say, our women, you know, they do love us. They really do. Because they give. And a lot of times, brothers, I just gotta be honest, we really not deserving of the love that they do give us.
That's right.
Go ahead.
We really not. Because it's not being reciprocated. It's not being returned. We're not giving as much as we should. If we love them, like I said, we got to show it. It has to be demonstrated. All praises due to Allah. Y'all all right?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Sensitive subjects. Sensitive subjects. Love. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad, of course, said that love of self comes first, right? So once we begin to love ourselves, and we love ourselves to the point where we start really taking care of ourselves. Remember, it's demonstrating.
Yes.
So we can't love ourselves and go eat a pork chop sandwich. No, can't do it.
Go ahead.
No, you can't. I know you say, it tastes good, brother. You can't love yourself and drink a 40 ounce.
Yeah, that's
No,
right. That's
you can't do it.
That's right.
You can't love yourself, man, and drink a 40 ounce of OD. Do they still drink 40 ounce of OD? Brother, I'm sorry. Oh, I can't answer you.
You got to start asking me about the MD 2020 something.
Right. MD 2020. That's old school. You really can't love yourself, you know, and be smoking all this new weed.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Mom
right.
and all that.
Can't. I know it's legal, brother. I know that. I know it's legal. That's what the devil does, man. The devil will make something legal to make it right. Did y'all know that?
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Look, alcohol, in my view, is the most dangerous of all drugs.
Yes, sir.
It really is. Because it's legal. it's legal, and it's socially acceptable. And so you can have a drink in a social situation and nobody's going to bat an eye. So when you overindulge, you know, a lot of times it's an ongoing process to where now all of a sudden it used to be in a little social situation, it used to just be just with friends. Now it's a thing that we're doing every single day, and it becomes a problem. It begins to interfere with our lives, right?
Right.
So what's happening with marijuana right now?
Yeah, go ahead, brother.
Talk about it.
Is we're slowly being acclimated to it being socially acceptable. Now, I will say this, that there are definitely some really good medicinal benefits to cannabinoids and marijuana, or CBDs as they call them. However, most of us not indulging in marijuana for no medicinal.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Come on.
Right? We indulging in marijuana because we want to get high.
That's right.
And we want to get high because we feel so low.
Yes, sir.
Talk about it.
Is that right?
Yes, sir.
All the time.
And we haven't run into the man or the God who will make us high without marijuana as of yet.
Come on.
But here's what's happening with that whole marijuana socialization piece. That thing is exploding.
Yes, sir.
It is the next, listen, billion-dollar industry.
Yes, sir.
It's only a matter of time before, you know, you're going to be able to walk into 7-Eleven and buy you some weed. Trust me. Trust what I'm saying.
That's right.
But know that just like anything that is good, once the enemy gets his hand on it,
Yep.
oh man, it's all bad. It's all bad. Because that marijuana that they smoking in Denver nowadays, that ain't that Reggie that your daddy used to smoke.
Come on.
For real.
Yeah.
That ain't that little, you remember the little roach clip?
Yeah.
Y'all remember roach clip? Just me with a little feather on it.
Yeah.
Come on.
That thing was so small you had to put it in that little clip.
Come on.
Right?
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now, man, they smoking blunts. Blunt is a it's a cigar wrapper. They empty the tobacco up and they fill it with weed.
Yeah, that's right.
That new weed, and smoke that. Oh
Now
man.
you got wraps.
Right.
Right.
Now they got wraps, brother. You right. Man, look,
Right.
this world is in trouble.
Hey.
This world is
Go
in
ahead.
trouble.
That's right.
But
That's right.
once we begin to love ourselves, man, we don't have to fall victim to the world.
That's right.
We don't have to. We can be in the world, but not be of the world.
That's right.
That's what the Nation of Islam is all about. You could be in it, but you don't have to be of it.
That's right.
Because you love yourself.
That's right.
And so when you begin to love yourself, you're going to begin to put the best foods in your body.
Yes, sir.
The best vegetables. You're going to drink pure water, pure drinks. Right? Because you care about this awesome creation that Allah God has given you in the form of your body. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
And when you do that, you begin to preserve your life. And that's showing love by preserving your life. Because again, life is love. Love is life. So you're showing God how much you care about Him by taking care of yourself. All praises due to Allah.
Go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
All praises due to Allah. The other thing that, second part of this subject, and we're going to move quick. Thank you all for coming out.
Thank you.
Is acts of kindness.
Acts of kindness.
Now again, in this book, Holy Quran, the 107th surah is entitled Al-Ma'un, Acts of Kindness.
Yes, sir.
And it reads like this. It's a very short surah or chapter. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, hast thou seen him who belies religion? That is the one who is rough to the orphan and urges not the feeding of the needy. So woe to the praying ones who are unmindful of their prayers, who do good to be seen and refrain from acts of kindness.
Yes, sir.
Now this is a very powerful surah of the Holy Quran, because as Muslims, one of the two guiding principles or things that we learn when we come into Islam is that we are to commit acts of kindness. Not to be seen of men, but because it's the right thing to do. We are to help feed the needy.
That's right.
That's our job. When we come into Islam, when we come into knowledge, we learn and understand that we are all connected. Are y'all listening?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Go
We
ahead.
are all connected, each and every one of us. That's why when you come to the door, we say, "How you doing, brother? How you doing, sister?" We don't know your name, but we see you sincerely as a brother or a sister because we know that we're connected to you. God is all of our Father. Is that
That's
right?
right. That's right.
So if you got the same Father, then you brothers and sisters. Is that right? So the Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us that brother and sister is the best title that we can have.
That's right. That's right.
Right?
Right?
Yes, sir.
And it gets us away from what we normally call one another. What's up, nigga?
Dog.
Right? My dog. When we see each other as brother and sister, man, look, I don't know about you, but I love my brothers and sisters.
Yes, sir, brother.
All of them. I don't agree with all of them, and it ain't like we get along all the time, but at the end of the day, I love them. Right?
That's right.
So, knowing you are my brother and my sister, I love you.
Yes, sir.
Because what I want for you is, like we discussed in the beginning, is freedom, justice, and equality.
Yes, sir.
What I want for you is abundant life. In fact, a Muslim is not a Muslim until he or she want for his brother or sister what they want for themselves.
Yes, sir.
That's a fact. So we want to show you acts of kindness. And the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, in this paper, there's an article on page 3 called The Acts of Kindness. And the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan really started a movement. Really, it started in 10-10-15.
Yes, sir.
The 20th anniversary of the Million Man March, where the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan called for 1 million black men and 2 million showed up. But at 10-10-15, he called for us to start being kind to one another.
That's right.
Start being kind to one another. Start showing love to one another. That's the only way we're going to get up. That's the only way we're going to get up out of the clutches of these enemies, is if we love one another.
That's right.
Voting is not going to work.
It ain't gonna work.
I'm going to say it again.
It's a trick. Go ahead, brother.
Voting is not going to work.
Go ahead.
Tomorrow, we're going to have a parade in honor of the birth celebration of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
That's right.
We're going to have that, and they're going to be down there. You know, you got about 7 or 8 different candidates for mayor now. trying to unseat Mayor Hancock.
Yeah.
And they're going to be, you know, all evoking the name of Dr. Martin Luther King to convince us to vote.
Yeah, that's right.
Because they know that we, as a people, love Dr. Martin Luther King.
That's right.
So they want to use his love to garner a vote for them.
Yeah.
That's the program.
I want y'all to pay
Yes,
attention.
sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
And the thing is, under close examination of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., he was a revolutionary.
That's right. Go ahead, brother.
He was a revolutionary. Now I know we say, oh man, didn't he say I have a dream? Yeah, he did say I have a dream. And then he woke up.
Yeah.
He said that in 1963.
Yeah,
I have a dream, the little black boys and little white girls and blah, blah, blah. We know it. We know the whole spiel.
Yeah.
However, in 1968, before they killed him, he said, I fear that I have been integrating my people into a burning house. He was evolving. He was telling our people not to involve themselves in a war that America was trying to prosecute in Vietnam.
That's right.
That's something that the government does not want any of its leaders that they sanction to ever do. Right? And for a while, they felt like they could control Martin Luther King.
Yeah, that's right.
For a while. Until he met
Go ahead.
with the most honorable Elijah Muhammad.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And after he met with the most honorable Elijah Muhammad in 1966 in the city of Chicago, Martin Luther King began to change the way that he taught.
That's right.
And that's when J. Edgar Hoover, the director of the Federal Bureau of Investigation,
Yes, sir.
and his counsel, try to think this over. Once we begin to love self, because once we begin to love self, what comes next is we begin to love and take care of our families.
That's right.
Once we begin to love and take care of our families, we're going to love and take care of our neighborhoods. Once we begin to love and take care of our neighborhoods, next comes our community, right?
Right.
Then our state, our country, the whole world. But it starts with self-love.
That's right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
The world, I got to give a shout out because the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, again, has been showing so much love to our people for so long that we can't think of a more consistent leader.
That's right.
We really can't. And they just had a women's march on yesterday.
Yes, sir.
I don't know if you all watched it. But they have our sister, Sister Tamika Mallory,
Yes, sir.
who is one of the co-chairs of the Women's March. And the Women's March is being co-opted now by white feminists.
That's right. Go ahead.
I mean, it really is. And what the white feminists, along with the so-called powerful Jew, wanted Sister Tamika Mallory to do was to denounce the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan.
Yes, sir.
And I got to give that sister mad shout-outs because she said, I absolutely will not denounce
That's
the
what she
Honorable
said.
Minister Louis Farrakhan.
That's what she said.
She said, she went on to say that he's the greatest of all time.
That's right.
Yeah, that's right.
Praise be to Allah. And you know, they pressed her on that, and she said, you know, well, how could you call him the greatest of all time? And she said, well, don't nobody love black people like Minister Farrakhan.
That's right.
Right.
Nobody. And so, you know, they got to leave that sister alone. But we have to be even careful of these movements, the women's movement, the Me Too movement.
Yeah.
That's what's taking down R. Kelly and whatnot.
Yeah.
Black Lives Matter.
Yeah.
You better be careful of that now.
Yeah.
Right.
That's
Because
right.
they using the quote unquote black label to defend lesbianism, homosexuality, transgender.
Yeah,
The
that's
Black
right.
Lives
That's right.
Matter movement do not include black men at all.
Go ahead.
In fact, they get offended if you even bring up black men. And they're funded by powerful Jews.
That's right.
George Soros.
That's right.
Yeah, that's it.
That's him. But we gotta watch out for these people, man. The only and here's the thing. Here's the bottom line, brothers and sisters. We really don't have no allies.
That's right.
I just gotta keep it 100. In this time, we really don't have no allies. The only allies we have is Allah, His messenger, the minister, and ourselves.
That's
Yeah.
right.
That's right.
That's right. That's right.
That's real. I gotta say. And ourselves, straight up. And if somebody does want to help us, then all praise is due to Allah. You know what I'm saying? We thank them for their help.
That's
But
right.
we can't depend on them. People take our cause and they put their agenda on it.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh.
Have y'all
Go
noticed
ahead. Go
that?
ahead with
Yes,
that,
sir.
brother.
Yes,
Go
sir.
ahead.
Especially with the homosexuality
Yeah.
and lesbian, LGBTQ, HIJK, LMNOP.
And so
That's about however many letters. Like,
That's right.
they take our cause and they put their agenda on it.
that's right.
And even if you go to any of the bookstores, right? Like, I'm an avid reader, so I go to Barnes and Nobles and whatnot. I'm not gonna read ebooks. I like an old school book in my hand, right? But now, if you go to Barnes and Noble, or if you go to Tattered Cover, whenever you find the black section or African American section, right next to it is the LGBTQ section.
Okay.
I didn't know that.
Right next to it.
I didn't know that.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, brother. Oh yeah. Because they feel like that's akin.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
But it's not. It's absolutely not. You know what I'm saying? When we wake up in the morning, man, we can't take this off.
That's right. That's right.
I mean, we can go get some
Bleaching cream.
cream and all that good stuff. But you can't take them lips off. You can't take that fried nose off. You can't,
That's right.
man, unless you got some mad money to go get you some surgery, get botched. But other than that, you gotta walk around with this.
Yeah.
Don't nobody know what I do sexually, unless I tell you, right?
Right.
That might not be.
And y'all don't care, do you? I hope you don't care.
I want to know.
Right. And I don't want to know what you do.
That's right.
But this whole LGBTQ thing is, again, the devil making evil fair see me.
That's right.
I can't judge what makes a person homosexual. You know what I'm saying? I really can't. I can't say you're born that way, or, you know, there are indications that it could be environmental. It's in the water. There's
Yes, sir.
estrogen-laced
That's right.
foods. There's chemtrails. There's all sorts of environmental things that can contribute, right? But we
Yes, sir.
can't put our finger on any one thing.
That's right.
But all I can say is, if you're a homosexual, that's your business. That's it.
That's right.
And so, for it to be a so-called civil rights issue, is just the devil trying to sanction his own freakishness.
That's right. That's right. Go ahead.
Y'all know that, don't you?
Yes, sir.
Europeans get down like that.
All the
That's
time.
right.
They've been doing that forever.
Yeah.
Homosexuality is not an African concept at all.
That's right. Don't even have a word for it.
Y'all all right?
Yes, sir.
Praise be to Allah. But anyway, I don't want to keep us too long. I just want to say that love is in the air.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Because a Savior has been born
That's right.
to save you and I.
That's right.
We're going to celebrate his birth in, this coming February, the 15th through the 17th in Chicago.
Come on.
That man, Master Farad Muhammad, he is a Savior.
Yes, sir.
Come on.
The Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, he is a Savior.
That's right.
The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, you don't need to look no further. He is a Savior.
That's right. That's right.
And if we would only listen.
Yes, sir.
But the thing is, man, we have to take on what they're teaching.
Yes, sir.
And then we'll be saviors. And the first ones that we'll save is our own self.
Come on. Come on.
Yes,
That's
sir.
right.
Yes, sir.
Praise be to
Yes,
Allah.
sir.
So we want to, I do want to be obedient. Like I said, we got to get out of here very shortly. But I want to thank you all for spending your precious time to come and share with us this morning. I hope and pray that what we said to you was conveyed in the right spirit, and that you received it in that spirit. I want to thank you all for coming, and I'm going to leave you as I greeted you in peace. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam, sir.
Praise Allah.
Sir.
So, before we get out of here and close out, I just want to ask, who's here for the first, second, and third time? See by a show of hands. Praise Allah. In the Nation of Islam, we don't ask you to sit up here and believe anything that anyone says without giving you an opportunity to question that person. And so we do open the floor for questions. Are there any questions about what you heard taught here today? Anybody? Brother Ahmad.
Yes, sir. Salam alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
Did you by chance hear of these various weathermen in, I believe, New York and St. Louis
Yes.
refer to Dr.
Yes.
King as
That's Martin Luther King. Yes, sir.
Oh.
I did. And you're right, brother. There was two instances where weathermen were talking about Martin Luther King, and one of them, he comes out and he says that he was talking about the street, but he's doing his weather report, and he was like, "Oh, such and such, Martin Luther King Jr." You know what I'm saying? A so-called slip of the tongue. There's no such thing.
Right.
There's no such thing.
Right.
If you saying Martin Luther King, you say that. That's your normal talk.
That's
You know what I'm saying? That's white supremacists. That's how white supremacists refer
That's
to
right.
Martin Luther
That's
King.
right.
They say Martin Luther King.
That's
You know what I'm
right.
saying? So don't let these people fool you. You know what I mean? He's a straight white supremacist who got caught.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Period. Somebody heard him. You know what I'm saying? Some sisters heard him on the news report and called in and said, "Hey, get him off of there.
Right. Right.
Get him off."
And a Negro defended him.
Right, of course. Matter of fact, Dr. King's daughter defended him.
Yeah, they always defending them devils.
The top Negro weatherman
Yeah.
defended him.
They always defending
Oh, Al Roker did too? I believe it. I believe it.
They always defending them.
But you know, when you bought and paid for it, brother, you know,
Yes, absolutely. Don't
Yeah.
expect nothing less.
whoever signed your check,
Indeed.
that's what it is. Any other questions?
I got a question.
Yes, sir.
I'm baffled behind these holidays. Thanksgiving, Christmas, and all that.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Depends on which one. Thanksgiving is celebrating the murder of the natives. Right? Christmas, of course, is a pagan holiday, just as Easter is, where Constantine mixed in pagan rituals with just Christian theology at the Council of Nicaea in 326 AD.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So we can go into all of that.
Yeah.
But the bottom line is, and that's what 10-10-15 was about, and this whole acts of kindness thing was about as well, because the campaign was up with Jesus, down with Santa.
That's
you know what I'm
right.
saying? Stop this holiday spending. Stop this holiday madness that we do during this time of year. You know what I'm saying? Yes, sir.
Now, when I was growing up, there wasn't no Christmas in our house,
Okay.
no Thanksgiving. And I didn't understand it. Why?
Your parents was on it.
Yeah.
They was on it. They was on to something. Praise
Yeah.
be to Allah.
Yeah.
Praise be to Allah. And that's how we should raise our children. My belief is that we should, whatever we raise or whatever we teach our children, we should always teach them the meaning behind it. You know what I mean? That we shouldn't just be blind followers who are doing something just because it's being done in the society.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So growing up, my children always knew that there was no such thing as Santa Claus.
Yeah.
Right.
They always knew what Thanksgiving was about. They always knew that at Easter bunnies don't know bunnies lay no damn eggs. If that bunny lay eggs, I don't know that bunny. They always knew that. You know what I'm saying? So we got to raise our children with truth. Period. Because, and that's the thing that we try, we always tell our children not to lie. You know what I'm saying? We'll beat the hell out of them if they lie to us, but then we'll lie to them during Christmas time.
That's right.
Yes, sir.
You know, it don't make no sense.
Go ahead,
so we should always teach our children truth. Period. Your parents did an awesome job, brother. Praise be to Allah.
Yes, sir. Knock out the brains of false. Yes, sir.
Anything else? Praise Allah. Well, I do have a question. A couple of questions. How many here believe that what you heard taught here today is true and is good for our people?
That's right. True.
Praise Allah. It is.
That's right.
It is good for our people. Okay, this question requires a bit of action. Please, but don't be scared. We're not going to ask you to join anything that you're already a part of, if you understand. How many of you would like to stand with us today and learn more, and to help us get this truth over to our people? We're trying to establish a nation of Islam in the city of Denver. And honestly, we need help. You see what I'm saying? So if you believe that what you heard is the truth, it's good for our people, and this is something that we should get to the rest of our people in our community, if you would stand with us, please just stand right now. Praise be to Allah. If I could, I just want to shake your hands. I'm going to shake the sister's hands first. I'm going to get you brothers in the house. What's your name again, Sister Karen? Karen, you're from? Columbus, Ohio. Columbus, Ohio. Welcome, sister. Praise to Allah. And my sister from?
Iraq.
From Iraq. Praise be to Allah. What's your name, sister?
Gesek.
Gesek. Sister Gesek. Let's give the sisters a round. Praise be to Allah. Good, Sister Gesek. See, Sister Hatshepsut. And my brother, I know my brother, so I'm like a brother. See, brother. What's your name, big bro? Tashaka. Tashaka. Tashaka Abdul. Good to meet you, brother. Yes, sir. Praise Allah. And big bro, what's your name?
Carl with the K.
Carl with the K.
Yes,
my
sir.
brother's name is Carl. I won't forget that. Yes, sir. And what's your name, brother?
Shelby.
Shelvis. Brother Shelvis. Good to meet you, brother. If y'all can see Brother James back here, just got a word from you for you. So family, that's praise be to Allah. You can just see Brother James back there, brother Carl with the K. Praise Allah. Yes, sir. We want to pass the chair. Let me bring up Brother Gerald and we'll pass the charity bucket. Let's give Brother Gerald another round, please.